Hello, and welcome to Tranquil Journeys. I'm Jennifer Fatir, and I'm here with Allison Clement, and we are your instructors. Allison and I are both Reiki masters, and between the two of us, we have training in complementary practices such as sound for relaxation, massage therapy, Ayurveda, and Reiki. We've been teaching and affiliated with Images of Hope for over 6 years to bring healing arts classes to our cancer patients, caregivers, anyone affected by cancer or trauma in El Dorado County. We're so happy that you're here with us, and we want to thank you for your continued support of Images of Hope and our virtual classes and for joining us wherever you are. Today, we'll spend time on self care practices and meditation, and we hope that you will leave the session feeling refreshed and nourished and guided by your own inner wisdom. Today, our theme is Tree at My Window. And so I'll turn it over to Allison so she can talk further about our theme and get us set up for our first lessons.
Tree at My Window. That's the title of a poem by Robert Frost that I'll read to you to introduce our topic, all about the healing power of nature and the stress reducing powers of just being observant and being out there. But more on that later. So let's start with this wonderful poem by Robert Frost. And the last line, I'll just point out to you ahead of time, the last line, he talks about outer and inner weather. So the focus of what we try to do is to take you away from focusing on your inner weather in here, out to the outer weather, the outside of everything that's going on outside of you. And so that's a great capsule definition of mindfulness, really. So here we go from Robert Frost. Tree at my window. Window tree. My sash is lowered when night comes on, but let there never be curtain drawn between you and me. And then he goes on to talk about the shape of the tree and about the sound of the leaves in the wind. Vague dream head lifted out of the ground, and thing next most diffuse to cloud. Not all your light tongues talking aloud could be profound. But, tree, I have seen you taken and tossed, and if you have seen me when I slept, you have seen me when I was taken and swept and all but lost. That day she put our heads together, fate had her imagination about her. Your head so much concerned with outer, mine with inner weather. Robert Frost. So that's my introduction to the topic today. And from a poem to research. Research has shown the healing effects in terms of stress reduction and exposure to nature, appreciation, and just being out in nature. Interacting with nature reduces stress, bottom line. There was a research study, and I'll read a little bit of it. 36 people spent 10 minutes or longer, 3 days a week for 8 weeks in an outdoor place where they could interact with nature. And it says the settings varied from yards to public parks to green areas near their place of work. They either walked or sat during their nature time. And they found that cortisol levels, that's a stress hormone, they measured those, and they found that spending 20 to 30 minutes in nature, that was associated with the biggest drop in cortisol levels. And it's proven by research that nature does you a world of good. And it can just be looking out your window. Really, worst comes to worst. It could be just sort of appreciating maybe a house plant and the way it's growing. So that's the research that I wanted to start with. So um, that's the beginning of it. I recently heard a great interview with a lady who is a ranger, a park ranger. She worked in or works in national parks, state parks here in California, and her name is Roseanne McHenry. She lives here in the Sierra Nevada foothills. She actually lives in Placer County, and she wrote a book. Her most recent one was called Tales from a Rogue Ranger. And it was just delightful, some of her stories and just her appreciation for nature and how she helped other people appreciate things they might not normally notice. And one of the main things that she was trying to drive home is that we're a part of nature. You know, we talk about observing nature or appreciating nature, but she reminded us that, hey, we're nature too. We are a part of nature ourselves. And the other important point that I loved that she made was just letting nature come to you. Just sit still, stand still for a few minutes. Don't just keep walking with your headphones on. Just take them off. Be still, stand still, and nature will come to you. Whether it's insects, birds, a squirrel, all it takes is a little bit of stillness for a few minutes. So that I really appreciated that she reminded us of that. And nature can be anywhere. It could be in an urban nature area. It could be your backyard. And speaking of urban nature areas, Jennifer just put on a photo that I took. I went to an urban nature area. And when I was waiting for my mom at the dentist, there was a sort of a small nature area nearby with a stream. And because it was urban, you know, there was quite a quite a large population using the area. And there were signs that people lived, so maybe sometimes in the nature area and nearby. And there was actually a shopping cart in the creek just to the left of where I took this photo. But I thought, man, that's a good lesson. You know, you don't have to focus on the shopping cart. Focus on what's beautiful next to it. So this with the dragonfly and the poppies and the water and the reeds, that was just next to the shopping cart, which was in the water. Luckily, they took it away a week or so later when I went back. But, you know, it's kind of like life is it half full for you or half empty? You can focus on the empty bit. You can focus on the shopping cart. You can focus on the little tiny bits of beauty and not pay so much attention to maybe the shopping carts in your life. So anyway, that's just something I wanted to say. You know, you can look at a dandelion coming out of the sidewalk and appreciate its beauty. They're beautiful yellow flowers. You don't have to look at the crack in the sidewalk. Look at the dandelion. Anyway, so that's my little blurb about nature, and I have a few tips. There's a great page that the British Heart Foundation put out, and they list a few ways that maybe, you know, we need some reminding of once in a while about ways we can appreciate nature and get those healing vibes from it. Look for the flowers, like I say. Look for the dandelion growing out of the sidewalk in your lawn. I confess sometimes if there's a dandelion growing in my lawn, I kind of mow around it for a little while till it's done blooming, because I think they're pretty. and I believe it was one of the emperors of Japan who made a great statement. He was a botanist, a very skilled botanist, and he said something like, "There is no such plant as a weed." Think about that. Okay, feel the sun on your face. One of the things that we have taught in this class in terms of stress reduction or reducing a panic attack, to bring your focus from inner weather to outer weather. So if you are having an anxiety attack, or if you just need a bit of quick stress reduction at any level, you take your focus outwards. Notice maybe 5 things that you can see. What can you see right now? I see a plant. Out my window, I see a tree. I see a fence. I see some dried leaves. Focus on some things you could hear. Listen to the birds. How many different kinds of birds do you hear? One mockingbird sounds like many kinds of birds. I've really been appreciating one near our house lately. It does a brilliant hawk imitation. It's amazing. And the textures. I can see all kinds of textures, even if I can't feel them at the moment. But if I am close to a tree, man, that bark texture, the leaves texture. So you focus on touch, hearing, sight. If you can taste or smell something in the breeze. Anyway, bringing your focus outward will really help to reduce feelings of anxiety. So feel the sun on your face. That's a tactile thing that you can feel. And if you go outside, see how many different plants you can spot in maybe 10 yards. It's tiny plants, big plants, trees to tiny, tiny, tiny plants. The birds, how many birds you can hear, and just to find joy in the animals. Even watching a ground squirrel, the ants, they're incredibly intelligent. The bees, watch what you see. So bring that focus outwards, and like Roseanne McHenry said, let nature come to you for a while. So that's all the nature tips I have for you. At the moment, I'll do one quick bit of imagery with you before we go on to Jennifer's guided meditation. And this is something that I do when I'm having either a stressful moment or just when I feel like doing it. And I told Jennifer I could call it the tree hugging exercise. We're not literally going to hug a tree, but get comfortable in your seat, and in your mind, come with me down my nature trail. Or in your mind, go down where you walk and focus on a larger tree that you can get close to, and put your hand against. Now I'm thinking of an oak tree I pass by, a fairly large oak tree. Think of your tree and place your hand on it. And this is something I literally do. I try to make sure nobody's really watching me. They might think I'm a bit weird, but sometimes I don't even care. You put your hand on the tree. Close your eyes. You can put both hands on the tree if you like. Feel the texture of the bark. A rough texture. Some trees are smoother. Oaks have a really rough texture. Pines have a rough texture. They're all unique. Does it feel warm? Trees aren't usually cool to the touch. They're kind of warm. How about the temperature? And then, especially if you could put both hands on a tree, but it doesn't really matter. Put your head up. If there's sun, maybe you can feel the sun on your face, and that sunlight and that energy just like it's going to your skin, you can feel it going into the tree. And actually, my hands are getting warm as I do this. You could feel that energy going into the tree, and imagine or feel that energy coming down into the bark, into that tree, and going all the way to the roots, into the earth. And something that always makes me feel better, a comforting thing to do, is to put my hand on a tree like this. And either with your eyes closed or looking up, I think, whoa, tree, you have been here a long time, a lot longer than I have. Or at least a good long time, decades perhaps, maybe a lot longer than decades. And you have been through a lot. You've seen a lot of storms, a lot of heat waves, a lot of droughts, and you are still producing these beautiful leaves. You've come through it all right, and so will I. And sometimes, if I'm having a bad day, I put my hand on a tree, and that's what I think. I think, okay, tree, help me through this one. You've gotten through a lot yourself, all the storms, and that really helps. And then now listen to the leaves, and I've noticed that in the wind, every type of tree has a different voice. You hear an aspen up in the mountains, or you hear maybe an alder or cottonwood down in the valley, maybe near a creek. They have a very distinct voice. Pines in the breeze or in the wind, oh my goodness, they have a beautiful voice. Oaks have their own voice. Each tree, the sound of the leaves, each tree has its own voice, and it's great to just listen. Listen to the sound the leaves make in a breeze. I give the tree a pat, thank you, and then go on my way. And so I have found that trees can be incredibly healing. So next time you go for a walk or in a park, or even if you have a tree, even a smaller tree in your backyard, put your hand on that and feel all those things, and see if it doesn't make you feel like, hey, you've got through a lot, so can I. Anyway, thank you for that. Just thought I'd share that with you before we go on to Jennifer's guided meditation. I'll hand it on to Jennifer.
All right. Thank you, Allison. Let's go ahead and continue on with the healing vibes of nature in our meditation. And so get comfortable again, seated with your feet flat on the floor. And let's go within, turning inward, closing our eyes, and giving ourselves inward attention. Bring your awareness to your breath. Focus on your inhale and your exhale. Notice your own breathing rhythm and just observe the chest and belly rising and falling as you breathe at a rate that's comfortable for you. And maybe just allowing yourself to take a deeper breath when you feel, and remember to do so throughout the meditation so that you can let go of tension or any pain you feel in your body or any accumulated stress in the mind or body. And as you're breathing, think of the top of your head and allow your forehead muscles to relax and loosen. With your eyes closed, let your jaw release. Notice if you're clenching your jaw and just release the area of the mouth and throat. Try to imagine your head and neck floating on your shoulders, light, and your shoulders dropping away from the ears, creating more space between the head, neck, and shoulders. Let the muscles of the arms and hands loosen little by little. Take a breath, release tension as you exhale. Deepen your connection within. Imagine your torso gently becoming a little bit softer, and that your back, your spine is releasing vertebrae by vertebrae, spreading light and air and space through the body, the back body. And just release the tension you might have in your hips, lower back and legs. Feel relief extending down into your knees, ankles, your feet and toes. Your whole body is just unwinding, letting go of any stress so that you can just be perfect in this moment that you're giving yourself. And just rest for a moment. Again, paying attention to your inhale and exhale. Feels so good to just let your body breathe without distraction. And just take another breath and exhale. Exhale, a bit of relief this time. Maybe hearing your breath come out of the mouth. Begin to imagine that you're walking on a path in nature. Maybe it's your favorite place to walk, and you're just walking slowly and gently and easily. And start to feel as if you're really there, you're on that path in your mind. Ask yourself, what do you see around you? What do you feel? What do you hear? Is there a particular smell in this place you're walking, or something you taste in the air? Imagine looking up and seeing a few clouds in the sky, just gently drifting. But there's also the sun shining down on you, or maybe some of the sun rays are hitting your face, your body, and you feel the warmth of the sun, the radiating sunlight all around you. Maybe it's cleansing you in some way. And you keep walking, just absorbing this beautiful sunlight washing over you, erasing any tension. And you're just soaking up the energetic power of the sun, pretending it's healing energy, really making you feel abundant with good feelings, positive energy, a lot of healing from head to toe. Maybe you sense a smile on your face because it feels so good to be out in nature, on this path, your favorite place to walk. And maybe you keep walking and feel a light breeze. It brushes over your skin. It's comfortable, not too cold or warm. And with the breeze, as it comes and goes, just in this moment, allow yourself to let your burdens go. Any stress or worry, doubt, challenges, just in this moment can come and go like a breeze. And as you're walking, feeling lighter, as you've released some burdens, let go of stress, maybe you start to notice the trees around you and how they've had the strength to withstand so much. And as you pass them and notice them and the intricacies of the tree bark and leaves that are hanging down near you, maybe gather the strength that the trees provide as you pass them or touch them. Just imagine you have the strength of a tree. And maybe now you start to tune in and hear sounds around you. Maybe there's a bird chirping or fluttering of a butterfly or dragonfly, and let them just join you on your path as you acknowledge them, the sounds of nature. Be appreciative of the changes that you're going through, just as the changes of nature occur. And maybe now you come up to a nearby stream and you look down and you see all the rocks and pebbles at the bottom of the stream. There's so much clarity. And maybe you allow yourself to sit by the stream now, enjoying the sounds of the water, nourishing the environment around you, nourishing you, imagining the cleansing of water, the sounds of water, just nourishing and providing you with a lot of grounding, grounding to nature and the path that you're on. Take another breath. Maybe now you want to continue your path, your walk, or you can sit here as we sit for a moment, imagining ourselves in nature, gaining strength from the elements that already exist there, taking time out, and we'll continue to listen and enjoy the sounds of relaxation. And now, as we awaken back to the space that we're in, let's just take a moment to nurture ourselves with some massage and acupressure points by gently rubbing the scalp using your fingertips. Rub the back of your head, top of your head. When you're ready, you can start to open your eyes and then move your fingertips to right above the eyebrows and just pull the forehead muscles away from the center of the forehead, letting your hands drag all the way to the temples. And then move your fingertips up to the center of the forehead. Do the same. Just spread the forehead muscles apart, releasing all the tension there in the head. And go all the way up to the hairline. Feels so good to just spend a little time nourishing yourself. When you get to the temples this time, rub them in a circular motion. And then just grab the skin behind the eyebrows and pinch the skin in the center of the eyebrow where they start all the way to the edge of the eyelid. This is a great way to relieve tension in the head. You can do that 3 times. And then just let your fingertips drift to your jaw. Do some circular movements in the jaw area. Sometimes we don't realize there's tension there until we start rubbing the area. And you can do some tapping there as well, just nice and gently. It's really good for your skin as well. And tap under the nose, above the upper lip, and right below the bottom lip, in the center of the chin. And then just stroke down your neck 3 times. And you can finish by holding that anxiety point. It's right under the collarbone. And if you just let your thumb and your index finger sit with your palm across your chest, where your thumb and index finger land under the collarbone is that wonderful point where when you inhale and exhale and the point is pressed at the same time, you feel this enormous sense of relief from stress and anxiety. And so when you're imagining yourself on your nature walk or doing meditation, you can hold this point, or you can do this point at any time throughout the day that you feel that you need just some relief. So take one final breath, and we'll turn it over to Allison to finish up.
Many of you have perhaps either done or heard of a stress reduction exercise or an anxiety reducing exercise called Leaves on a Stream. And I thought with our focus on nature and trees, this might be an appropriate one to finish off with today. So it's a good one to do when you need a little extra stress reduction, when you have worrying thoughts going through your mind that you just want to get rid of or handle a little bit better. So here we go. I'll do it with you. Sit comfortably again, and you can close your eyes or or just rest your eyes gently on a fixed spot. And imagine you're sitting or standing in the middle of a stream or next to a stream. The water is flowing away in front of you. Take note, is there of the sounds from the running water? And you can look around and you probably see some trees growing on the banks of that stream. So just watch the stream in your mind for a moment. The trees, different types of leaves that those trees might have. Sometimes the leaves fall and they fall onto the surface of the water, and the water carries those leaves downstream. That's what we'll do with our thoughts. Those leaves are going to help take our thoughts away downstream. So for the next minute or so, take each thought that enters your mind, place it on a leaf, and let it float by. So do that with each thought. You can kind of observe in your mind, oh, that's a pleasurable thought. Take it, put it on a leaf, watch it float by. That's kind of a negative thought. Put it on a leaf, watch it float by. Thinking about what I'm going to make for lunch. That's a neutral thought. Okay, let's take it, put it on a leaf, watch it float by. And if your thoughts stop momentarily, that's okay. Just watch the stream. Sooner or later, your thoughts will pop up again. Allow the stream to just flow at its own pace. Don't try to speed it up or rush your thoughts along. You're not trying to rush the leaves along or get rid of your thoughts. You're just allowing them to come and go at their own pace. And if you think, oh, this is kind of stupid, or this is boring, well, that's a thought. Place it on a leaf and let it go down the stream. So then you could sort of label it. Oh, I see, I'm having a feeling of impatience there, okay? Let that sit on a leaf and float down the stream. And then sometimes your thoughts might like overtake the leaves or the availability of leaves in your mind. Just that's okay. Just it's normal. As soon as you feel like you've been sidetracked, just bring your attention back and continue placing your thoughts on the leaves and watch them float by. Sometimes it really helps with anxiety just to label a feeling or thought as neutral or unpleasant or negative or positive or pleasurable. And this leaves on a stream exercise kind of helps to do that in a very pleasant way. So that's something that might help you out in times of stress or just in terms of general relaxation. Leaves on a stream. So now we're going to finish with our nature theme and our quote. Jennifer found this quote and I think it's absolutely perfect. It's simple and beautiful. From Lao Tzu: nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So true. Thank you very much for joining us. We are very grateful to Images of Hope, El Dorado, for their support, for all your support in watching us. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, don't forget to click on subscribe and you'll get notifications when a new one comes out just approximately every month. So thank you very much for joining us. And whether it's just looking out your window at the clouds or stepping outside, it's a good time to appreciate everything that's around us in nature. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.